Hello, welcome to Furious Driving. I'm outside here in the rain with my Rover 200 VI, an astonishingly rare hot hatch of the 1990s, and it's now a full-on Rover race between this and the 420 GSI Tourer as to which one gets MOT'd and back on the road first. They've only got a few little bits left to do on each car, and so what I've done is booked an MOT for a week's time to see which one I can get done first. And it really comes down to the logistics of when I can be at home or at the barn and just have a spanner in my hand and get some things done. The 420 GSI has only got those two holes in the rear sill that need to be taken care of, and a few people did suggest just JB weld a plate of metal over it and fix it later. It'll get through the MOT. And you know, I say, if a bodge falls in the woods and no one notices it, is it really a bodge? Well, yes it is, and I'm going to fix it with proper welding as soon as the car's back on the road and here in the driveway. Because at the moment, I can't weld it in the barn because, you know, it's a fire risk.
It needs CV boot changing. I've never changed a CV boot, but I've watched lots of tutorials and it looks easy.
Potentially the easiest one, which might win the race on that front. This one, though, only needs a couple of things. It needs 4 new tyres because the tyres on it are horrible. This Michelin Energy, good tyre. What is it? Michelin Energy, I think it's an MX something, is 16 years old, we counted. And after those tyres go on, I think basically it only needs to have a wash. Oh no, there's a couple more bits. It needs a CV boot, which is going to be tricky, but not too hard, I don't think. It needs the exhaust pipe tightening up because that clamp is not done up properly because it was raining and freezing and cold when we put the engine back together. That got overlooked. What else does it need? One more thing, one more thing. Oh, the brake caliper. The brake caliper is binding on that front wheel, so I'm hoping it is just, I don't know, freeze off by driving on its own. I'm hoping it'll fix itself, to be perfectly honest. If not, a new caliper for one of these things isn't expensive, and we could do the brake fluid flush on it as well anyway. So let's crack on and do some things. First of all, it is new tyre day, and that's one of the greatest days in motoring life because frankly, there's nothing better than a new set of rubber on a car. It absolutely transforms the look, the feel, the handling of a car, and so I've got a new set of very nice Falken Ziex tyres waiting for me down at Pro Tyre right now, so bung some wheels in the van and get going. We own a total of 8, that's 5 plus 3, 8 axle stands. I've got these 2 big monsters here. I've got the 2 chunky ones over at the barn. I've got 4 old ones, which I'll lend to Barry with the yellow W123, so he could put 4 new tyres on that car, because that tyre also had ancient rotting tyres from being parked up so long. Unfortunately, those 4 over at his house, the other 2 are in the barn. I've only got 2 here, but I have fortunately got the space saver out the boot, and I've got this one which I bought for Quentin, but it's actually really warped. So I'm jacking up again using the little hockey puck pinch weld saver thing. A couple of people did mention in the previous video, great idea, a lot of people liked it. 2% you shouldn't jack on the pinch weld. Thing is though, this is actually the jacking point as listed in the car, and there's really nowhere else to jack on the back of an R3 as this is, or an R8. And also, if there is somewhere else to put something solid, if you're jacking it up, chances are you're going to be wanting to use that for your axle stand afterwards. So you do actually have to use the pinch weld sometimes to jack the car. I'll quickly mention, as always, all the tools I'm using today. The impact wrench, the impact sockets, the jack, that little puck thing, even the breaker bar are all in the Amazon Associate affiliate link in the description below. And additionally, if you'd like to help support the channel, I don't believe it, the space saver tyre out of this car doesn't actually fit this car. I'll have to go buy a new one. Great. And it's snowing again. I was just about to say, if you like this channel and what I'm doing, then please do consider hitting the channel member or Patreon buttons in the link below. It does make a massive difference. So it turns out the wheel storage capacity of a Zoe EV is 2. I could pop out this cover here and make it into a 3-wheel capacity thing, but I still have to make a second journey, so I might as well make it easier myself and go 2 at a time. And the van is useful for this because it's basically a van. It doesn't matter if I get the thing dirty by chucking grubby tyres in the back. That's what it's for. It's a van. Now I undid the exhaust pipe because it said you had to do it in the Haynes manual. Turns out you didn't really need to do as much as I did, but never mind. We put it back together in a real hurry because it was cold and freezing and wet when we were putting the head gasket back on. But now I can get underneath here, tighten up these 3 bolts with a 15 and a 16mm spanner and socket, and then the car will no longer be farting. Okay, definitely out of gear here. Turn the immobilisator. L'immobilisator. Oh, much smoother. Definitely sounds an awful lot better. No audible kerfuffleage anymore. Now, I was going to whip this caliper off and free it up a bit, but I've got to go and get the other wheels in about no minutes, and it's going to snow again, so I'll probably save that until next time out. So looking at the tyres that have come off the car, there's actually really good tread on all 4 of them. The front ones were Michelin's, which were really good quality tyres when they were new. Unfortunately, that was back in, I just found it a second ago, 2003 on this one. I think it was maybe a year or so newer. Either way, that's ancient and they're starting to crack. It's just like touching hard plastic. You're not driving on ice. These ones at the back are a bit newer. They're merely, I think, 2016, which is only about 7 years old, which is, yeah, coming to the point we need to change due to age, but they are Constancy Chinesium, which is a brand I've never heard of and don't fancy risking my chances on much either. So these are going in the bin on age and the fact they're Chinese rubbish. So, new tyres day is one of the greatest days in motoring. I love getting a new set of rubber on a car. The look, the smell, the feel of it all is just lovely. And compared to the old ancient tired out Michelin's on the front, these just feel so tacky and supple and just ready to drive. These are a set of Falken Ziex ZE310 Eco Runs. I got these because they are just really good for the car. It's a V-rated tyre, up to 149 miles an hour. I think the ZI does about 135 from memory. I need to go and check that. So basically you need the fast tyres and these can handle that. They're rated for as very good dry grip, very, very good wet grip. Apparently get 5% better fuel economy and a 10% better sound because they've got some special foamy lining inside or something. So all told, they are a great all-rounder which should actually improve the handling and the feel of the car and make it very nice indeed. Put something similar, not quite as fast rated, on the on Quentin the convertible, and that car handled and ran really nicely on them, so I'm quite happy to put more of, well, not quite the same, a slightly better version of what was on Quentin onto here. It's actually a little bit hard to get tyres this small these days because 15-inch wheels are not big anymore. These were quite big wheels when the car was new, but these days they're quite tiny. Yeah, looking very nice indeed. Love that tread pattern. All looking very smart, very tidy. I do need to get his wheels powder coated though, because they are, well, they're going to let the car down basically. I want the car to look really nice. Shiny new rubber, absolutely lovely. Now after finishing up that last section of work on the car, putting the wheels back on and everything, I took it for a little test drive up and down the drive. Then I did 2 things. First of all, I went and put some petrol in this, another gallon of super unleaded, because it's been sat for so long with old petrol in it. I figured a gallon of super would help unclog the pipes after so long. That's when I discovered there's a key on this cap, which I don't think I've ever put petrol in the car before, and that was something of a shock. And there was a random spare key which I nearly threw away because I hadn't worked out where it went to on the spare key keyring. Turns out it goes there. Lucky I'd kept that. Secondly, there was a trail of brown rusty coloured water up and down the drive, which the rain has now washed away, which I would imagine to be coolant of some kind, but now I can't see. Aha, hang on, yes I can see down there. And where is that dripping from? Just there, it's coming from, it's ice cold. Maybe it's not there then. Okay. It's rainwater. Because the coolant hasn't dropped and there's no puddle under the car, so I'm going to have to assume it was just some coolant that had puddled in a chassis rail or something and then ran out of the car when I moved up and down the drive. I'll do it again. I've also got the, in fact, know what I'll do, I'll go and fit those bolts in first of all, because then I don't have to have the screwdriver in there. Okay, so these genuine MG Rover nuts and bolts, in fact, not nuts at all, just bolts, are 3 of the randomest orders Discount MG Rover suppliers have ever taken over the phone. He was a bit baffled, I think, by the sound of it. Like, I'm sorry, you want what bolts? But yeah, here we are. Let's whack them in there, and then we won't have to keep having this wobbly thing rubbing on the belts. Or the wheels, not the belts. That is better. Hooray! I think I've figured out the mysterious brown stains on the driveway. It's not coming from the engine bay, it's coming from the exhaust. It's all over down here on the floor. It's on this bit of plastic which needs to go back underneath the car. It's coming out of the exhaust itself. It's when the head gasket failed previously and it filled the exhaust pipe with mush and goop. It's now just slowly blasting out every time I start the car up. This will take a little while for this exhaust pipe to clear of all this goop that's sat in it, but obviously as time goes by and the car gets used, it will clear out on its own. At least that's one problem solved, and I've not got a mystery coolant leak falling in great volumes out of the engine. So, one good thing. Okay, let's redo our test of whether or not the brake caliper is binding. I'll move the seat right back to my... I love how easy that fires up. I've still got to put the airbox back in, so I was going to run this up and down the bottom of the drive. Oh yeah, made a noise then, grindy noise. So if I stop the car, wheels and feet off, that's hanging on that one caliper. We're on quite a steep hill just here. This is just rolling back. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't want to move. That caliper needs changing. Okay, so no MOT for you this week, my friend. I was going to whip the caliper off and do that and do the CV boot as well today, because, you know, it's good to do it all while the car's up in the air. But we've got 2 problems. First of all, the weather. It can't make up its mind, and it won't be sunny for more than 15 minutes, and it starts raining like it is right now, or it starts snowing like it did the other day when I started this video. Secondly, it's now the school holidays. It's Easter holidays, and I'm at home this week doing child-minding dad stuff. So I've left him playing on the iPad indoors right now, so Furious Jr. is going to want some lunch in a few minutes, so I'm going to have to abandon the video. I wanted to get so much more done in this video, but I knew that if I didn't put a video out today, there would be nothing until next week probably, and that's too long to leave it. So this is a stopgap filler showing a bit more progress on the car. The fact this thing has now got 4 brand new tyres. Let's go jump out and look at them again, because I love those things. This is the house of green cars now. I love these things. Falken Ziex 310s. I love that tread pattern, love the soft malleableness of it, and the fact this car is going to ride and handle so much more nicely on them. Happy days, good times all round. Now I've already got the CV boot kit and the weird cone thing. I've never done a CV boot. I'm slightly nervous of doing it, but it shouldn't be too big a job. It just needs to find some time to do it. So it's still unbearably windy out here. So I've got the weird cone thing you use for fitting CV boots. I've got the CV boots, so there's actually 2 in the pack, or 2 bags of them. So that, in theory, not too hard to fit, assuming of course that all the bolts come undone. Knowing my luck and the fact this is a Rover, it's going to be an absolute nightmare and cause me no end of grief. So I'm not really looking forward to that particular job, but that will be the next video on this car. Will be changing the CV boots, and as that caliper is clearly gripping way too hard, we'll be changing that as well. I'm not going to bother rebuilding it. I know people will suggest I do so because it makes interesting content, but the fact is, it takes ages to do it, and the chances are it might not go right. And a new caliper is about £30 for one of these cars. It's just not worth the time. So just whack a new caliper on at the same time. Okay, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you appreciate these old rare Rovers coming back to life, which they are slowly but surely improving every single time we look at them. So as always, please do hit like and subscribe, and head over to the new furiousdriving.co.uk website and have a look at the merch stuff we've got for sale there, which is exciting developments for the channel. Right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.